Inside Miami Tech is available to listen on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
Hey, it's Coral, and welcome to Inside Miami Tech, the podcast where we tell the stories and expertise of leaders inside the Miami Tech ecosystem. Today, we're joined by Laurie Fortune, a 2-time Fortune 500 intern and Fortune 200 intern, and current president of Google Student Developer Club here at FIU. Hello, Laurie.
Hi, Coral.
Welcome to the podcast. Honestly,
thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. One of the reasons why I wanted to interview you is just that I love how empathetic you are towards people and stuff like that. And that's sort of the topic that we have to of the day is how to lead with empathy. I want to know why, your story. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And how did you get into technology?
I love telling this story. Ooh. So let's start from where I grew up. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Apopka, Florida, which is a small town, which is 30 minutes out from Orlando. I just tell people I'm from Orlando because that's easier, and they're like, Disney. I decided towards the end of my senior year to come to Miami. It was kind of on a whim because we were in quarantine, and I was like, I cannot be home anymore for college. I'm going to Miami. I started out as a health service administration major because in high school I studied, I did medical magnet. Ooh. I'm pretty sure they have that at a lot of schools. I did medical magnet, so I was naturally I'm going to major in medicine. Realized I didn't really like it because it was kind of if I'm starting over, why not try something completely new? So I was in English class one day, and I was with a friend of mine, and I was, back then it was really easy to change your major. You just had to fill out a form, and I was like, what if I did IT? It was kind of for funsies. It's if I didn't like it, I'm not that deep into my course load, I can always change it back. So I switched to IT, and I ended up liking it because I was I started learning about programming and the different parts of IT because I thought it was just coding. So I got involved with clubs, and I ended up liking it. And I met other people in the major, and yeah, that's how I ended up in tech. My parents are Haitian.
Your parents are Haitian. You grew up in Orlando.
So I chose Miami because it was diverse, and I grew up in a majority white area, and I was a lot of times I was the only one of 2 black kids or black girls in my classrooms or my sports. So I wanted to go to an area where there were other people of color, so that's why I chose Miami.
And so you were in your school, and then you just applied to FIU and you came here.
Yeah.
How did you rise to become a leader of GDSC?
That is a very good question.
Yeah.
So it all started, I had a friend, and this friend really motivated me to get involved with the school on campus and whatnot. So one day we decided to go to a resume tailoring event at the engineering campus, and at this event you just had to sign in, and there were different companies that would take your resume and review it, and I got lucky and I got sat with Google, and I was like, oh my god, Google, I wasn't thinking much of it. A part of me was intimidated because it's Google, everyone wants to work for Google. Yeah. So I had no technical experience. My resume had a business internship, and I didn't have much experience in tech. So I was kind of expecting at first I was nervous and intimidated, but I was kind of it's a resume tailoring event. What's the worst that could happen? I'm here for feedback. Come on now. So I sat with, I remember, can I say their names?
I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying. So I sat with 2 Googlers, Areli and Joelle, and they were their vibes were amazing. I'm a vibe person. I love I feel you can sense people's aura and people's vibe, and they just had such chill vibes. And Areli had the prettiest earrings I've ever seen in my life, and I was I need to compliment them. So then I complimented her earrings, and then we started talking, and then we both found out that we're both first gen, and we actually had a lot in common.
Wow.
And we were talking while Joel was critiquing my resume. Mind you, my resume was so bad. There were scribbles all over the paper. and naturally someone would be oh, the more he was scribbling, I was dang, she's going ham.
What did I do now?
He was not holding back. I was okay, it was quite humbling, I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of our conversation, when it was time for me to go, Arlie was you should come to dinner with us. And I was
what?
Me? Little old me? I was literally like I was like, that is so nice. Like, what? So she invited me to a dinner, and I thought it was just gonna be like just like us, like just like a casual dinner, but there was like this forum, and then long story short, it was like it was like a few days later, there was a dinner, and I didn't know that this dinner was full of like leadership, like all the FIU leadership, like all the major clubs and everything. And like, I'm a pretty outgoing person. Like if I'm somewhere and I don't know anyone, like I'm gonna find someone to have a conversation with. Like I'm not really afraid to like go up to people and talk. So like as I'm talking to people, they're like, "Who are you with?" And I'm like, I literally straight up was like, I'm just chill. Like, I'm just a real chill person. Like, I'm just real cool. Like,
you didn't have a title at the time.
I did not have a title. And like, initially, the first time I was asked, I was like, is everyone else here like a president or something? Because like, they talk and they're like, oh, I'm president of Chef. I'm president of this. I'm president of that. It was just, they had titles. I was like, I'm just a girl. Like, I'm just a girl in the world. I was literally like, I'm just a girl. Like, I'm just here. Like, I was having a blast. And put me in a room with good food, like you can keep me in there for hours. Like that's bliss for me. So like I'm like talking to everyone, and I'm sitting next to these two really cool guys, and we're like making small talk, and come to find out that they were the president and vice president of GDSC at the time, and I was like, whoa, because I wanted to join Google. I was like, I wanted to join GDSC, but I hadn't gone to one. I think actually no, I went to a meeting before that. The timelines are all jumbled up because it's been such a long time. But I'm pretty sure I went to their first general body meeting, and I was like, oh my God, like I want to be in Google. It was like luck. I don't know what it was, but like we were literally just talking like as friends. Like they were like real chill, and they're like, you should join our team. So I started in outreach, and then I went to management lead, and then that was fall 2022. End of fall 2022 came around, and elections came up, and I ran for president, and I won. Wow. And that's how I became president of Google.
Of Google's student developer clubs. That's awesome. Yeah. I think the main topic that I want to hit today is sort of how to lead with empathy and how to get opportunities for the things that you want without being so robotic and individualistic. Because something I've noticed about you, and something I've noticed about a lot of people here, is that their culture sort of impacted the way and how they approach people, and they sort of the way like they know how to speak with people and know how to get opportunities without being so robotic and like what you learn. Because to be honest, like you can go to as many workshops like to perfect your pitch. You can go to as many resume building workshops. But if you don't know how to connect with someone, how to be empathetic with somebody, or how to lead a group without thinking about empathy, especially people in technology, like if you don't have that, then you can't even do anything. So I want to start off how did you get so many of the opportunities that you have gotten, because you have 2 internships already? Yes. And you're also a National Science Foundation scholar. Yes. And you're also the president. Like how do you get all of these fortunes, we'll say? Well, my last name is Fortune, so like naturally I'm gonna have good fortune. But in all seriousness, when I first started out in tech, I like, we know the memes. Like, everyone thinks that the computer science majors they're usually shy, they're to themselves, nerdy, a little bit, like, awkward, and I'm not that. I'm not that. Like, most of my CS classes, like, you can spot me out like that. I'll be wearing neon pink, a skirt, and my makeup will be, like, I'll have crazy eyeliner on. I do it for fun. It's a hobby, guys. Yeah. But, so, like, I think what contributed to me having good fortune is just not being so afraid of rejection. And I realized that what I've observed with like a lot of other people in this field, they are very, I think it's like fear driven, I think. Yeah. Like when we watch the videos on YouTube, like we're only taught one path. Well, yeah, one way to like getting the computer, like the job. Like you just do leak code, you study, you go to a workshop, you practice your technical interviews, and then you get an opportunity. And I feel like that way is so linear. Yes. So I kind of developed like a strategy of like
expanding my options. Like I kind of went into this field like I'm gonna try everything and see what sticks. And along the way, I'll meet people, I'll make connections. 'Cause at the end of the day, like I love making friends. I love meeting people because like I didn't even know if I was gonna stay in tech. I was like, if I didn't like it, I could just switch my major.
Back to healthcare.
Yeah. If I couldn't switch it, I could just graduate and then go back and get another degree. Or like, you have to kind of see like the bigger picture and see that like you have options, and just be willing to try something. Yeah. So I think, in addition to not really fearing like rejection, I think just getting to know people. Because when I go to like career fairs, I like to watch other people talk to recruiters, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like it's so sad because it's like they don't talk to them like they're people. No. They see, like we were talking about this. Yeah. They see the title and like you can tell like it's the same questions. It's like, it'll be like, what's the pay like? What do I do? Basically, they'll ask like, what do I do to get like the opportunity? And it's like
it's like a game.
It's like a game to them.
They see it as there's actually a book about it. I was gonna mention this, but there's a book about finite games and infinite games. So when you look at something from a finite game perspective, like let's say you're Joey, right? And he just wants to get a big job, right? He'll see getting the big job as a finite game. Like the end goal is just to get the job, to get that offer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joey, our contestant for the day, and he is here to get that offer. Are you guys ready? And so he goes through the different loops of the different challenges and everything, and then he just sees as every single thing as a different level to get to that end goal, to get to the prize. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And when you look at something like that, you don't see like the people who are making the decisions for you. You don't see them as people. You see them as a stop. Or a challenge inside the level of the game. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with that. And I think when I was first starting out, that terrified me. I was like, I literally would like sometimes cry, like, I don't know if I can deal with it because like, there's not many people like me in IT. I wouldn't say like, for me, I don't see myself, like I value my life, my hobbies, like my personal growth. I'm a very big mental health person. I journal, I do the whole thing. I just couldn't see myself living a healthy life and like losing sleep over like leak code. Like when I'm in like classes sometimes, like I'll overhear other people talking like, oh, I did 10 hours of leak code. I didn't sleep last night. I slept at like 5 a.m. and I was like, I couldn't do that. And like, I think a lot of like the grind set.
The hustle
bro culture. And it used to overwhelm me. And then I like, one day I was like watching a video and I was like, this is a man. Like, I'm so serious. Like, I'm not saying it in like a thing, but I'm like, I'm listening. I can't take advice from a man because like,
I'm not a man.
I'm not a man. Like, it's like, and I don't say it in like, and I'm not saying it in a way of like enforcing gender norms. I'm not saying it in a way, but it's like a lot of like the practices, like the hustle culture, like for like women, like women who get stressed, like they're prone to like hormonal imbalances. Like our bodies are different. And like, I'm sorry, like a 6-figure job is not worth me like, like my health, like I don't want to like sacrifice my health and my overall mental well-being because I've been there. Like I've been the grinder. I've been up since 5 a.m. And I was in the worst shape of my life. I was the unhappiest I've ever been. Like it was just not something that I could have done. So what I did, I'm a very much like a think smarter, not harder kind of person. So like the role that's marketed to most IT and computer science majors is software engineering. Like just like everyone wants to be a software engineer and there's nothing wrong with that, but like it's a good paying role. Like I understand why everyone want to be a software engineer, but like I kind of developed the mindset of like I could be something else, but like I could probably make that same salary or higher if I just get really good at it. So I like went into databases. I learned about databases. I learned about Sorry, I blinked. I went into databases. Yeah. That was my thing. Yeah. I was thinking about something else, but yeah, I started learning about databases, and that's how I got my first internship. Because I know most people, you have to like see like what most people are doing and see how to like stand out. That's also a part of like getting those opportunities. Like you have to be willing to stand out, because in interviews and like what I've observed is that like some people like will mention like their hobbies, and it's like, oh, I like to build computers, I like to code for fun. And I like in my interviews, I like showing the recruiters that I'm a human too. Like I have like my whole life isn't this. Like I have a life outside of this. I'm working to live, not living to work. Yeah. I want to learn as much as I can. And that's another thing. Like I feel like there's pressure to know everything. Yeah. Because it's so fierce. Like the competition is so fierce.
It really is.
So like everyone wants to know everything. And then that kind of takes the humanity out of like them. Yes. And when they go like an interview, they're not really showing up as themselves. They're showing up as an employee. They're showing up as like, they're just not showing up as a person. And I think in like communication, if you're not being authentic, like people can sense that, and they don't really trust you as much, because it's like you're putting on a front. And I don't like putting on a front. I believe in just like highlighting the best qualities of myself and like tying it to what I can contribute to that role specifically. I hope that made sense.
Yeah. And it goes to show that this is not only for, you know, job hunting. This is if you want to start your own software business, you can't just look at people like, oh, you're going to be doing this and you're going to be a part of this, and I just want to talk to you because you have a lot of money and you're a venture capitalist, and so I'm just going to talk with you about a lot of money. So what you're saying right now could be applied to any field. Any field. And what you actually mentioned the second part of what I was going to say, the infinite game, where when infinite game is like every single time you do something, every obstacle is like you learn something from it. So everything that you do, you take it as a learning lesson and not as an obstacle to get to the prize of a game. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because like I think having like the prize, I always knew that like if I were to get there, there's a chance that I might not like it. So like why not take an approach where I'm gaining something every step of the way, and I'm like learning something that I can apply to like all areas of my life. Because if I were to take the traditional route, neglect my relationships with my friends, my family, just like neglect my health, and like like I'd probably like get the role, but then I'd get there and I wouldn't have like the people that I love most. I wouldn't have the hobbies that I have now. Like I wouldn't have what I have now. So I just think that I always like tell myself there's more to life. Like there's more to life. So like that's what I'm saying. It's more to life.
There is.
So and it's crazy because like I realize like when I see other people, they get rejected from like these companies, they take it so hard. Like
it's a psychology at this point. Like sometimes I just think about it. It's like these companies sometimes. All it is they just have really good marketing. Yeah. And you see, and the thing with Gen Z is like we grew up with the technology. So we see that every single day. Yeah. So for us, it's like, oh, this is God. Yes. But it's not God. It's not. It's just it
looks pretty.
It's just a company with a lot of money. Like the thing about like big companies is like after you get like any sort of opportunity with them, everything else just feels like, oh, they're just humans. Like, I remember when I was in Grace Hopper, I got a scholarship from Google to attend the conference, and they gave me a stipend to eat food, have a hotel, travel, everything. Everything galore.
Oh, period. I love to hear it. I love to see it.
You know, and the thing is like my badge, it said Google. And so like I didn't put I was a student because I thought I was supposed to put, so like my badge, it said Google. Yeah. And people thought I was a recruiter or like a representative of some sort. So then sometimes some of the attendees, they would come up to me and they would ask me questions and they would be so interested. There was even this one girl from like Columbia University, and she was just talking to me and giving me her pitch, and I was just like, I didn't even say I was a student. I just pointed at her like, hey, I'm on my break. Just go to I didn't say I'm on my break, but I just say like, hey, the booth is over there. And like even some other recruiters from other companies, I won't say like who, but like some other big companies, they told me like, oh girl, take off your badge because then the attendees are gonna harass you if you keep it on. And that's what those recruiters were telling me.
Oh my gosh.
And so then sometimes I would have, there's one recruiter where they did a big line, and then at the end of the line, not the end of the line, but like once I got to the front, I didn't even tell her my pitch. I was just like, how are you doing? Do you need a glass of water? And she was just like, oh, it's kind of like, because she had a script the whole time. And that kind of like, she's like, oh, okay.
Grace Hopper opened my eyes.
Yes.
Grace Hopper, because I have a similar experience too.
Yeah, wait, but let me
finish.
Let me finish. And then afterwards, we just had a normal conversation about being Latina, whatever. And then she texted me on LinkedIn like a few minutes after I leave. She's like, hey, I have something for you. And she gave me a gift card from her company.
Oh.
And I was just like, this is so sweet.
That's so sweet.
And I think because Grace Hopper 2023 was its own thing.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people did not have situational awareness. So there is a time and place to be, professional, pitch yourself. But in that situation where there was so many people, you would have to understand that by that point, recruiters already have heard 300 pitches. So for you saying a pitch, it wasn't going to help you anyways.
Yeah.
But by connecting with them and just breaking that script, breaking the, the game mode.
Yeah.
She just felt like, oh my God, I just, like, she felt like, I just love your energy. Honestly, just like text me whatever you need. I can help you with your resume, anything.
That's so nice.
And I'm just like, wow, I didn't have to sacrifice myself. I didn't have to, think. I didn't have to, like, and it was a woman too, so I didn't have to approach it like a guy. I just did it like my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just it's sort of like connecting with her on that level helped me more than all of the 500 workshops I've done in the past. Yeah, honestly,
I agree. I think a part of it, of why like it's been a lot easier for me to get opportunities, is because I have an identity outside of my degree. I have an identity outside of what I have to offer a workplace. And I think sadly, like a lot of people in this field don't have an identity outside of that. And I understand, because like some people need that. Like some people need to provide for their families, and they need to, like, it's like probably like life or death for them. But I think that it can be harmful, because like, another eye-opening moment was during like the layoffs, the tech layoffs that went on, and it like solidified to me that like at the end of the day, like there's no guarantee that even if you get the role, like there's no security in that. So you need something to like fall back on, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's another hobby, if you're like fortunate to have that financial like cushion. And back to Grace Hopper though.
Yes.
Grace Hopper opened my eyes as well, because I was with a group of girls and I got like a lot of offers. And when we got there, I know you remember like the videos of like the swarming, and like the fact that there's so many men there, and like people were just in this headspace of like fear, negativity, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be hard to get an offer because there's so much competition. There's a lot of men this year who are probably more qualified. They felt that they weren't gonna get an opportunity. Some of them just straight up didn't even go because it was just so like, it was overwhelming, which I don't blame them. Girl, I left one day to go to Universal. I left the conference to go to Universal. Confession. But at that point, it was like towards the end, and I had gotten like what I wanted out of it. But instead of hearing all these things about like the competition and the men, I was like, I'm just grateful to be here. Like not many people have the chance to go to Grace Hopper. Like even if like, and it's like, a lot of them were like, if I don't get an offer, then it's the end of the world. Like, if I don't get a job.
I mean, there's so many ways you can get a job.
There's so many ways to get a job. You have to, like, expand your options. Like, you have to, like, and also the best connections are made at the bottom. Like, they think, like, networking with recruiters is going to help you. Like, it does help, but I feel like it's better to be connected and have a network of peers. Like, we're all in the same place. Because it's like, I know where I'm going to be, like, I know someone else is going to need help. And if wherever they're going to be, like, we can help each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always have that. But instead of, like, hearing all that and seeing all that, like, the videos, like, it didn't scare me, because I was like, I'm grateful to be here. I'm just going to meet as many people. Like, I'm here, girl, I'm here to make friends. Like, I'm here to learn. I'm here to have fun. Like, I think having fun is also another part of why it's been a little easier to, like, get opportunities. Because it's, like, instead of approaching it of, like, what if I get rejected? What if they think I'm stupid? What if I'm not smart enough? I'm like, this is for fun. I'm having fun.
Like, we're still young.
I'm young. That's what I'm saying.
It's not. There's not a lot. We don't have 5 kids.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we have, like, like we're young enough that we can like risk more.
Yeah.
So like when I go to career fairs, I'm not going to career fairs like at first I used to be anxious, but I used to be like, let's see what happens. Like, let's see who I meet. Let's see what I learn from somebody. Like, like let's see what happens. So like Grace Hopper, when I was like constantly affirming to myself that like, I also listen to a lot of affirmations, but I was affirming to myself that like, I'm confident, I'm having fun, I'm glad to be here. I would just like start conversations with people and I would talk to them. And like, I was just getting like offers left and right. And I was like, whoa. And also on the last day, I was satisfied and I didn't want to be like, I'm not an overachiever in the sense of like, I need to collect as many offers as possible. Like I was happy with enough, like I had enough offers that I was like happy, like I can work with this. Like this is what I was looking for. This is like more than what I was looking for. Let's see where it goes from here. But I was just talking to a lady at like the booth because I was like drained, exhausted, and I just wanted to talk to someone. And we just started talking. I went on a rant about gluten-free pizza and how it's evolved over the years. And she stops and she's like, this is the first time all weekend that someone's talked to me like a human being.
Wow.
My heart shattered. Wow. My heart literally shattered because I was like,
wow, it's
been 3 days and no one's talked to you like a person. And, like, I didn't even want her to, like, offer me anything. I didn't even ask her for anything. Like, I just wanted to talk. Oh, girl was chill. She was so nice. And, like, hearing that was just so, like, sad to me.
Yeah. And
it really did open my eyes. So it kind of, like, helped me, like, be more comfortable in taking my approach to, like, finding opportunities. Like, some people could say that it's a little bit lax. It's not, like, but again, like I'm gonna mention, like I feel like as a Black woman, I'm expected to be strong and like always fight. And like when I'm suffering, like I'm applauded for my resilience. And I'm rejecting that. Like I'm rejecting that narrative. I don't like. I think it's okay to quit, especially as a Black woman. If there are any Black women watching it, you can quit, girl.
You don't need to be strong.
You don't need to be strong.
You can be a dainty.
You can be a dainty, feminine little girl.
You can be feminine. Oh my God, I like feel it's because the thing is we're fighting with. I wanted to say this because I feel like it's easier for us as Black women to be empathetic towards people because for us, people already have titles and speculations even before we even say a word. Yes. They already have a list of things like, oh, she's probably this, she's probably that, she's probably that, she's probably that. So for us, it's easier for us to see people outside of titles, accolades, what they do. Because for us, it's like people already, like, we already know what it's like for someone to treat you not as a human being. And it's not fair. And so I think giving that opportunity to somebody else, like, hey, I see you. Yeah. I know, I see you. Yeah. And like when you can do that with somebody, you'll be surprised at how many people you can connect with and how many opportunities that can open up to you. Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course. I think it's helped me a lot in the workplace because I realized that some people don't see the world the way I see it. Yes. And like I like that. Like I know, like, so that's why when I go into like my interviews, like the anxiety is kind of gone because it's like I have my own set of experiences. I know that I bring valuable insight and I don't see the world the way that many other people see the world, and especially as a Black woman because there's not many like me in the field. Yeah. I think I don't feel as anxious going into like looking for opportunities or like getting rejected from opportunities because I know it's not a reflection of like it's not a reflection of my inadequacy. It's probably because I'm just not a fit for the company. I'm just not what they need at the time, and that's okay because there's other opportunities. It's all about having an abundance mindset and not a scarcity mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see you, girl. I was literally gonna say it's an abundance mindset. Because after you get after you get the first one, it starts to snowball. Like I felt it snowballed for me, and then now I'm just like I get to pick. Exactly. Like, I actually get invited to apply to places. Really? Yeah. Period. And I love to hear it. At this point, it's like it's gotten to the point where now it's like you attract people once you are abundant, and you also don't see people as a means to an end, like a step along the way, so I can learn more. Yeah. And that can help you so much whether you're either trying to get a job somewhere, trying to be a fit, work for someone else, or if you want to work for yourself and build your own thing and not see people as you got to see people as people, because at the end of the day, we have that sort of, you know, that tribal thing of connection. My tribe, my people. Like in their head, it might be like, in your, it's not just like, oh, this is just my job, but like, it's like, can I trust you? Yeah. Can I trust you? And there's so many benefits to it, really.
That attitude is what like was like the main challenge that I have with IT, because the competitiveness is just so like, I'm not a competitive person. Like, I don't, and especially like being a woman, like a Black woman in the field, I don't feel the need to compete with men. I don't feel like I should compete with men. Why would I compete with men? Viewers, why would I like, I just feel like it's not like, it just doesn't feel like, it's obviously like there's like systemic like
we already know.
We already know that. So like we know that there's like disadvantages from being like in certain backgrounds and stuff like that. So like I'm not trying to compete with men because I already know the playing field's not even. So why not use what I have to my advantage to get myself ahead? You know what I'm saying?
Leverage your strengths.
Like leveraging my strengths.
Like you don't have to assimilate. You can be yourself.
Exactly.
Like there's a misconception that you can't be yourself. That you can't be loud. You can't be this. You can't be charismatic. That's too much. You gotta be more quiet. You gotta be.
No, and I see it a lot too because like sometimes people get confused as to like how I've gotten opportunities, because like I'm not the stereotypical, like if you think of someone who's had like 2 internships, you think that they were like a shut-in, a nerd, like they're not. No, girl, I'm the complete opposite. Like you can do it all. You can do it all.
You can do it all in a little bit.
Exactly, you can do it all. And it's also like, I think another thing that like when you go to like women in tech panels, or like you listen to women talk about tech, a lot of it, and this is my like, I wouldn't say it's a controversial take, but it's like an alternative take, because I think the main message that a lot of like young women in STEM get is that you're just as smart as men. Like, and it's kind of putting us in the position to prove ourselves. Prove ourselves worthy of these same opportunities of men. Where it's like you don't have to like
you have to go above and beyond.
Exactly.
And
like that's what I'm saying. Like
just to get like a smidgen.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like being in like the proving energy sets you back, because you're not focusing on yourself. You're centering the other person's. You're centering the male like ideal of what a hard worker is. You're centering. You're not centering yourself. You're not doing what's best for you, because it's like, I just want to prove that I'm just as good as you, if not better. But like at the end of the day, once you prove yourself, then what? Then what? Like
you did all of that for what?
Exactly, you did all that for
and
what?
And they didn't even notice.
Exactly.
They don't
so
care.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you're doing it for yourself because you're insecure.
Exactly. So I just think that like sometimes like we should tread lightly when we like empower young women to go into STEM, because it's not about competing with men. We don't have to prove that we're just as smart as men. Like we don't have to be in the position of always proving ourselves, because then you're gonna be in like, if I was in that like position, then I would have been miserable. Like I would have quit IT, because girl, what? Why? No, what? No, I'm not doing that. Like that's gross. And it's like being a woman, like you bring certain things that sometimes a man can't do. Like women on average, like we're more empathetic. We sometimes like value connection more than like technical skills. And in the workplace, like that can be a little bit like unhealthy. It's a little bit like, I think it's unhealthy for men and women, like in general, but I think having like a place where we know what like both like party, like what everyone brings to the table. I'm speaking in binary terms, because I can't speak for like people who are like outside of that, but like it helps to like have people from all backgrounds, because like it's just not like, I feel like, we just shouldn't center like the male ideal of what the ideal candidate is in tech. And I think that's where a lot of women go wrong with like in like computer science and IT.
Yeah, because when you're building software, you're building products, when you have to think of your user, and your user is not just like, depending on who your user is, like they're probably, if you're building a global product for example, you're gonna have users from all over the world, people who use things for different things. Like, you have to think about, like, oh, what if my user is a woman? What if it's a pregnant woman?
Yeah.
What would be the use case for this? Or, like, oh, what if they live in an area that has bad connection, like in Haiti or DR? How can we make sure that we have the certain type of technologies that it won't that will be most optimal for that area? Or, like, how can we solve sort of like the technological problems that there are in certain areas of the world, or certain people might use this software for this, or they might use this software for that. But if you don't have anybody on your team who has the experience and also has the experience of being a woman, of being a Black woman, then your product is not going to go well with that demographic.
True.
Like, if you have a demographic of certain type of people and you don't have the users that you want in your company or your business, it's not going to work out. Like, it's like software engineering, I feel like people think it's just, I'm just going to work on Jira tickets all day.
Yeah.
It's not just that.
I hear a lot of people say that. They're like, I want to be a software engineer because I don't have to deal with people all day.
Yeah, I'll just do Jira tickets, and it's just way more than that.
And it's way more than that. Like,
it's way more than that.
Also, like, for your own well-being, like, it's isolating. Like, why would you not want to work with people? I understand some people, like, don't like being around people all the time, but it's also like a lot of us are going to spend most of our lives working in an office, like, and I can't say that it's completely healthy to avoid people in general. And that's why, like, in tech, a lot of people neglect those soft skills and they neglect those interpersonal skills because they don't think that it's useful for that role. Like, they think I need to be the best coder and that's enough. Yeah. And it's like, you can be the best coder in the world, but you can be a pain in the bleep to deal with. Like, you literally can be a pain to work with. And sometimes, like, having someone on the team that's just not, like, a good person or not a nice person can affect everyone's workload. And that can, like, it can affect, it's like a domino effect. Like, it can affect everyone. And, like, some people can contribute to an unhealthy work environment. And I've experienced, like, unhealthy work environments, and, like, my job itself wasn't bad, but it was the people I was working with that didn't, like, I couldn't perform the best because I'm, like, already stressed about, like, other things, like, oh, what do they think of me? Like, I don't care no more. I don't care what anyone thinks about me anymore. But, like, you know me, I was a young girl. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm free. But, like, it can affect people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think when I go into jobs, like, I know that I value, like, I want to bring value to the company, and I also want to bring value to the people that I'm working with if I'm going to spend most of my time with you every week. You know what I'm saying? And it could be mutual benefit because I love making people happy. It used to be people pleasing, but, you know, I failed. But, like, I like uplifting people. I like helping people. Like, when I got my first internship, like, as soon as I got back to school, like, I wanted to, like, help people get internships. I wanted to, like, send them, like, stuff to apply to. I would drag my friends to career fairs. I'm like, you have to come to this career fair with me. Yes. I'm going to fix your resume. Like, I like helping people. So, like, it's all about, like, I just think that
the benefits.
It's like, I think, yeah, exactly. Like, I would say that I'm more strong. Like, I would say that, like, I want to improve, like, my technical skills more, and I consider myself a technical person, but I think my expertise is more in, like, the soft skills and communicating with people, because communication is also a really big aspect of it, because some people don't have the emotional intelligence to describe what they're feeling. They don't have the language, or sometimes they're just not comfortable expressing or saying,
or they're
shy.
Laurie, I think today we learned a lot about how being human-centric with your approach to getting opportunities, whether that's getting a job or starting a business, and how connecting with people, not titles, is more important to getting to where you want to be. Because at the end of the day, you're going to spend a lot of time either at work or building your own things, and the last thing you want to be is individualistic, robotic, and non-confrontational. That's the last thing you want. And
that's a miserable existence.
Thank you so much, Laurie, for coming to the podcast today. This was really insightful. This was good. Laurie, is there any way that people can reach you, pick your brain a little bit?
The best way to reach me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Laurie Fortune, Laurie, Fortune, like fortune cookie.
Anything that you would like to promote?
I'd like to promote GDSC. If you're watching this and you go to FIU, we are currently taking core team positions. If you're interested in joining the core team, I highly advise that you join. It was actually one of the most life-changing opportunities that I've gotten in college, and it actually changed the trajectory of my life. So yeah, there's a bunch of spots available. We're rebuilding GDSC, and I want a lot of new young talent on the team because I think everyone has something to contribute. So
what's the Instagram again?
the Instagram is GDSC FIU. And yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.